So today, we have Matt Johnson. He's an internationally recognized expert in expanding human capacity. He helps organizations and individuals boost performance, achieve more with less, and drive engagement using his proven science-based method. Matt serves as president of On Target, an 11-year-old organization dedicated to expanding human capacity. So we want you guys happy and healthy, and you have to take care of yourselves. You have to make good choices. And so let's bring Matt up because he's going to teach us how to do that. He's going to rock your world. Thank you, Matt.
Get the video going here. Nope. There we go.
Health is really moving in the wrong direction. Obesity is climbing, type 2 diabetes, cancer, people's inflammation, the list goes on and on.
What I see from my generation is we're not moving in the right direction. Too much energy drinks, too much pop, fast food at every meal.
I think the other one is lack of movement. We're not moving as much as we used to, and then our stress levels are all-time high. People are working harder.
Every country that follows the United States principles or lifestyle is starting to catch up to us from disease and illness. Mexico wasn't even really on the radar screen in type 2 diabetes, and now they're number 2 behind the United States. The scary thing for me is I see my friends, they're aging at a fast rate. I see my friends' family aging at a fast rate. Cancer, heart disease, illness, it's too prevalent.
It's not so much genetic related. So I show us a map of the United States in 1973 that there was really no obesity, and then it fast forwards to 2003, 2013, and then we just keep going. We have a program that's sustainable, and that's what people get excited about. And we've seen major changes with people, and then we give them some really quality stuff that's very doable, very repeatable.
I think balance is the big word. You can't just be good at eating healthy and not exercise and rest. The big thing we convince people on is they have to spend a large portion of their time thinking about how they're going to recover in their day.
We're going to talk about things you're not normally accustomed versus just your waistline. That will happen. That's a side effect. But if you can get people to feel better, have a better night's sleep, the juice gets higher, they just feel good and they want to continue. And I think that's what we've learned over the years is that the reason I want to continue the plan is very sustainable is because I feel amazing. And I think that's what more and more people want. They want to feel amazing.
You guys ready to feel amazing? So, I got a short period of time with you, and it's going to be revved up, charged up. You're going to leave with a ton of information. But why is the power of feeling your best so important to you? Well, you just heard it. You guys are going through some changes. You're trying to evolve. The most valuable asset of Edelman is you, the people. Let's go one layer deeper. What's the most valuable asset of you? It's your health. And let me define health for you. It's your optimal self. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever performance you're trying to do, family, work, passions, hobbies, you're going to need your health. So that's what I'm going to charge you up today. I'm going to give you some education. To do that, I need to get the energy high. So if you could stand for me, we're going to move the body pretty. So arms overhead. It's the last day. I know we're dragging a little bit. We got to get some energy going. Here we go. We're raising the arms and back down. We need some smiles, some happiness. All right, spread your feet apart. We're twisting. Watch your neighbor. Little teamwork. Up and over. And we're going to get really crazy. We're going to get our feet together, our knees together. We're going to squat and hold it. Pull your arms in. Raise them up. Stand up tall and breathe. One more. Now we're going to pulse. All right, have a seat. Look at that. The energy's higher. You're ready to go. You're going to be able to retain some information. So I'm going to get right to it. I grew up with a health freak, health guru of a father you saw in the video, turned 60 in November, that drove a Frito-Lay truck. So what did he teach us at a young age? You don't have to be perfect. You know, Gene was talking about, I'm going to come in here and help you with your health. Don't leave here trying to be perfect. Leave here with 1 or 2 things you're going to do. Think about how you can make some small changes, build some habits, because at a young age, we were taught you don't have to be perfect, but you need to build a foundation. And I've devoted my life to helping you and organizations perform at their best because we know it's getting more hectic. We know it's getting more complex. Stress is going through the roof. We're trying to do more with less. But how do we do that? That's what I'm going to tackle today. My clicker's a little slow, I apologize. So, how many feel like you're here, trying to do more with less? You feel like, I go home and I just don't have any more to give, any more energy at home. As I've found, as demands are increasing, our capacity is shrinking. This is like the glass. The glass is overflowing. But how most of us try to fit the water in the glass is prioritize, management, workflow, try to use systems and technology. And it's not working. So leaving here today, I want you to think, what would happen if you had 4.2 more hours in the week? What would you do with it? What would that mean to your business, your professional life, your life in general? Because instead of just turning up the volume to this, let's think about it a whole different way. We can all expand our capacity if we build these foundations. Now, what I want you to start with, and if you have a piece of paper and a pen, what would you do with that 4.2 hours? I want you to get very specific. What would you do with that 4.2 hours if I gave it to you? Because I'm going to talk about many tactics today. And I'm confident it will help you expand your capacity 5, 10, 20%. But to be safe, 4.2 hours in a week is 5%. What would you do with that? I want you to get laser beam specific. Number 2 is you have to have an emotional connection to that want, that desire, that thing you're going to do. You're going to do this. This is what you can do with the 4.2 hours. But why do you want that? Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's something in the past and the future that you want to change. This is my grandmother, 83 years old. In her late 50s, she was on 7 medications, ankle fuse, knee replaced, very crummy perspective on life. Kind of going in that wrong direction. Well, we came along. I was the first grandchild with my twin sister, and you see all these grandkids in the driveway there. She found her why. Today, she's on 0 medications. She's extremely optimistic. At 83 years old, she has more juice than she did 30 years ago. You start connecting that why to those wants, that desire, the magic will happen. And I'll share with you my why at 31 years old. What gets me charged up? What keeps me going in the right direction here? This is what I want you to take away. I'm going to talk about what to eat, how to sleep, how to handle stress, how to move the body, but I want you to leave doing 1 or 2 things. This past year started with 1 dandelion. Pick 1 or 2 things leaving here, build the habit, and from there it will start to blossom and turn into some results. Because where we're so fixated in our society is how do we get success and happiness? And what most of us look at are these shiny bells and whistles. This is Atlanta Falcons football stadium, $1.6 billion. You got the solar panels, the Jumbotron, this amazing architectural work. And this is where all the energy and passion and excitement is, right here. But it's nothing without the foundation. And so as we're getting busier and more complex and stress is going through the roof and demands are increasing, what we're forgetting to take care of this baseline. And so today, if we can build these 3 performance foundations, this is your foundation to do these initiatives that you're trying to do, to take care of the clients you're trying to serve in a way that doesn't have you overflowing out of the cup. So this is what it looks like. We're going to build your rest, your eat, your move. What outcomes can you expect out of this? You're going to get more focus. Everywhere I go, every organization I go into, they're distracted. Not saying you guys are there, but everyone's distracted. There's more noise. There's more chaos. Or energy. Who wants more energy? I talk about manufactured energy. In our society, we're so fixated on this manufactured energy. How am I going to manufacture energy? Well, if we just think about it, how do we actually tap into that natural resource? We have this optimal energy. And the last one's drive. Gets you through the chaos, gets you through the muck. And these things help you expand your capacity. But one of the big challenges is this. We're not going the right direction. And this isn't catastrophic, but I believe health is wealth. I don't think you can have wealth without health. In reality, our health is not going in the right direction. Look what happens over the last 30, 40 years. Type 2 diabetes, obesity, cancer, not a huge issue in the 1970s. I'm from East Lansing, Michigan, not a healthy state, but it wasn't an issue back in the 70s. Fast forward to the 90s, little change. Michigan's not a healthy state, unfortunately for me. I know you guys are all over. Look what happens in the 2000s. Midwest gets gobbled up. 20% of the Midwest is obese. Colorado's sticking out. It's hanging on. But today, 33% of the country's obese or more. Cancer's going through the roof. Disease, illness, heart disease, all these things are going through the roof. We have better hospitals, better nurses, better technology, more information, and we're going in the wrong direction. And this is the opportunity we all have. I have a 1.5-year-old and another one coming in December. This is what scares me the most. 45% obesity in 2027. We have control over this. It's called prevention. But we got to change the mindset because our genetics have not changed over the last 40, 50 years. What's changed is our lifestyle, and we have 100% control over that. So what are the 5 reasons we're going in the wrong direction? Number 1 is there's too much information. In your profession, how many of your clients come to you with some new idea, some new trend that they saw on TV? How many have that, this information overload? We have so much information, we have minimal education. 2 things not taught in school: how to take care of your personal finance, how to take care of your personal health. That's what you guys are doing. You're taking care of personal finance. I'm here to help you with your health. We got to start educating people about these things. We lack movement. Me getting you up moving today, that's not normal. We got to move the body on a regular basis, and I'm not talking exercise, I'm talking movement. So what are we doing on a daily basis, on an hourly basis to move the body? And I have this joke. We hear about these stand-up desks. You know, they're amazing. You know, it's sitting's the new smoking, and you got to get the stand-up desk. Standing is not the new walking. Okay, so we got to move the body. You know, you're an amazing food city, Chicago. Everywhere we go, we got this inexpensive, great-tasting, unhealthy food. You got to be able to navigate. You're going to a client meeting, you're busy, you're going to your kids' obligations, your family obligations. You got to be able to prepare and navigate. This is a Krispy Kreme bacon and cheese out of West Virginia called a Luther Burger. And you guys will appreciate this. It doesn't happen overnight. We got to get over this instant gratification. I'm going to give you a couple tactics today. You're going to get to do a couple samples leaving here. Nothing's going to happen today. And that's hard for me to say. Nothing's going to happen today. But you're going to build some habits, some foundations, and it will happen down the road. We got to get over, hey, let's do this right now, and what's it going to do for me later today? Build some habits because we're in a marathon, not a race. And the last one is we're stressed. We're overstressed, chronically stressed. We got more demands than we can put up with, and we have to have tactics and strategies to manage that stress. This is what I do on a regular basis. When people come to see me, come to talk to me, shoot me emails, they're on this medication roller coaster. You go on one medication, leads to the next, leads to the next. And I hope none of you in this room are going down that direction, but I know as a society we're going in that direction because if you have a headache, are you deficient in ibuprofen, Tylenol, Advil? Are you deficient in these drugs? But 60 million people are taking an anti-inflammatory every single day for a common headache, muscle pain, soreness, issues. Here's what we're going to do to start today. We're going to ask a better question. That's the first thing you got to learn today. Ask a better question. What happens when you ask a better question? You get a better answer. When you have a headache, the first question you should ask, how much water did I drink today? Have I had enough water? Did I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Everyone in this room got 7 to 8 hours of sleep yesterday, right? Nobody was out late in Chicago watching the Cubs, right? You got to ask these questions because we have these signs and symptoms, and if we don't ask the right question, we go down this medication roller coaster, and this is what I deal with every single day. Where are we spending the most money? Right here. Focus issues, digestive issues, asthma, type 2 diabetes, obesity, heart disease, inflammation, and the big kahuna, cholesterol. So here's a question. How many in this room believe cholesterol to be amazing? I say cholesterol, you think amazing. 2 or 3 people. Well, let's ask a better question. What is cholesterol? Cholesterol is a nutrient the body produces. It's the backbone to hormonal production for the human body. Now, how many of you think cholesterol is amazing? We have to ask a better question because it's a $16 billion industry to block cholesterol, and we don't really even know what it's doing. We're not asking the right question. And over my time and research and working with people, it's a pretty easy thing to move. But you got to ask a better question. The newest research out there, the higher your cholesterol is in balance, the longer you're going to live. Why? Because it's the backbone to your hormones. You got to start asking better questions. Most people want to keep their cholesterol at an all-time low. Mark my words, over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to have an epidemic issue with too low level of cholesterol. Then what are we going to do? So we have to ask these better questions because you ask a better question, you start to get a better answer. This is your future medicine cabinet, whole foods, fruits and vegetables, and these things called superfoods. So on your table, you have a food target, a laminated food target, and another piece of paper. Maybe grab that right now. That could be a good time to grab that in the center of your table. The center of the target's all high-quality food, nutrient-dense foods. The red is the poorer, least nutrient-dense foods. When I'm talking about superfoods, I'm talking about the exact middle, the most powerful, effective, closest to the source items. So let me break these down to you, because everyone wants to know, hey, Matt, what supplements do I take? What do I need to do? Well, let's make it really easy for you. Just like you do for your clients, let's make it really easy for you today. The first superfood that most people are deficient in, 95% of our society is deficient in, is omega-3s. Now, the next thing is, how do we take these? What do we take? Because there's a million different ways to get omega-3s. The first one is this thing called cod liver oil. Now you're going to get really excited. You get to try cod liver oil today. You may have walked in a couple doors here. You've got this black tarp over hiding the cod liver oil on ice. And I'll explain why you're going to get to try it. But the first omega-3 that everybody should be consuming is this thing called cod liver oil. And I want you to take the cod over fish or krill because it has vitamin D3 naturally. Instead of taking a D3, you're getting it through the cod liver oil. Now, how much do I take? 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of the oil. It tastes like an orange oil. You'll get to try it. You'll say the same thing. It doesn't taste like anything. Now, why am I telling you this? Because most people are taking a gel capsule. And you need 15 to 20 gel capsules to equal a tablespoon of the oil. Nobody's taking 15 to 20 gel capsules. That's why they're not getting the results. And by the way, it's very hard to digest the capsules. So we're going to the source. We're giving you the exact thing. This is one of the most amazing omega-3s that you can consume. The next omega-3s are your plant-based. Flax seeds, chia seeds. 10 years ago when I'd come on stage, I'd say flaxseed, chia seeds, omega-3s, and people look at me like, what are you talking about? How many heard of flax seeds and chia seeds today? Now, that's a good reminder. It's not what you know, it's what you do. Most of us aren't taking flax seeds and chia seeds, and if you are, we're not taking enough of them. You need 1 tablespoon of the flax seeds or chia seeds a day, and you need to grind the flax seeds or you'll see them again. Gene, has it been a long week? They're a little bit behind this morning. You gotta grind the flax seeds to get the omega-3 benefits. Cheap coffee grinder, grind enough up for 2 weeks. Put that in juice, put that in smoothie, put that in cereal. Your kids, your community, it's the cheapest omega-3, extremely powerful. 1 tablespoon a day. The second round of superfoods that I talk about are super greens. We know greens are important. Hey, eat broccoli, spinach, kale, all these things. We're just not eating enough. And as we're getting busier and busier and our food system changes, it'll be vitally important to make sure we're getting these nutrients. Here's some of the most powerful greens on the market. The first one is this thing called spirulina chlorella. You'll get to try that today. Here's a tip. Do not chew these tablets. Okay, you take 10 tablets a day because it's a real food that they dry. Swallow them with water. This is an algae, and it does 2 things for you. It boosts your immune system, helps you detoxify daily. Okay, we have toxins all around us. We need to detox daily, not wait till the end of the year and do the detox. 10 tablets a day, down the hatch they go. They don't taste very good. That's why they dry them into a tablet. This is an algae, extremely powerful, potent food. The next is wheatgrass, and this is outdoor unpasteurized wheatgrass. They cut it, they juice it, they freeze it, they send it right to your house. That's where the benefits are. You go to the Jamba Juice or the juice place, great. Wheatgrass is fine, but that's grown in 7 days indoors. It's grown 5 months outdoors. It gets all the nutrients from the soil. The benefits here, high source of minerals. I don't take any multivitamins, any supplements like that because I can go right to the source and it's much more absorbable. Now I'll pause right there. Remember what I said at the beginning. 1 or 2 habits coming out of here today. If you're doing 0 of those superfoods, pick 1 or 2. Build a habit and go from there. But at 31 years old, you're looking at me and saying, Matt, you're coming in here and you're talking about aging. You don't know anything about aging. From experience, you're right. From research and science, I know a lot about aging. And here's what I know about aging. What you do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s doesn't really matter. How many of you would drink late or stay out late or not get enough sleep in your 20s and 30s and wake up in the morning ready to go? Okay? You know, you can kind of handle anything. How many do that today and you pay for it the next day? Okay, so what you do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, yeah, we kind of go with the flow, but here's what I know. What you do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s is the results you have in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. And so what we're seeing in our country is we're living longer, but we're creating this aging gap in our society. So what the aging gap is the 80-year-old at the red line at the bottom and the 80-year-old at the top line at the top, drastically different from a quality standpoint. And what I think everyone in this room cares about is the quality of their years, not their years. Here's what you want to know. You want to not be in that gap. And the way you're not in that gap is you start to take some incremental changes to your lifestyle because prescriptions, disease, illness, they're very preventable if we take care of our lifestyle. All the money, all the longevity risk that we talk about is on that red line. There's very little longevity risk at that green line. And what I say by that is outliving your resources. It comes when you're going down that red line. But we have to change our beliefs. We all have these beliefs. And beliefs are interesting to me because they lead to results. And in my studies and what I do for the last 10 years and what really drove me to get into this business was helping people get results. But in the way are people's beliefs. And so when I come on stage, it's really fascinating. I get to kind of share the message. You get to listen, and you can leave with some actions. But let's talk about some limiting beliefs. So this is my carbohydrates right here, from the yellow all the way over to the end here, my proteins and my fats. How many of you believe carbohydrates make you fat? You know, this is an interesting question. Some people raise their hands, some people don't. It's the #1 diet in our society. Has been for the last 40 years. I showed you all the numbers. It's not working. We got to change the mindset. Yeah, we know these carbohydrates are not good, but carbohydrates in general are essential. Here, let me explain that to you. 50% of your carbohydrates, or 50% of your calories, should come from carbohydrates. Why? Because it gives you energy, gives you fiber, gives you antioxidants. Without this macronutrient called carbohydrates, you don't get any of those 3. Now, it's a macronutrient, and in our society, we're extracting a macronutrient, no carbohydrates. We do that, we will have macro problems in the future, and that's what we're seeing. This quick fix, because if I remove carbohydrates from anyone's diet here, you'll lose 8 pounds the first 2 weeks. Why? Because it holds on to water. We extract carbohydrates, we extract water, you get instant results, but we're not getting healthier. Or the belief that I need more protein. Yeah, proteins are good, but we can have too many proteins. Or fats. We used to think fats made us fat. Now we know fats are essential. We need these healthy fats. Remember 20 years ago we got rid of fats? Look what we're doing right now. We're trying to get rid of carbohydrates. We got to get back to the basics. It's right in front of us. And then the last belief that I think everyone's having right now, you're a little nervous about this. How many believe that cod liver oil tastes bad? 3 people? Only 3 people think it tastes bad. How many believe it tastes bad, never had it before? That's called a limiting belief. Why do I ship it to every event? And, you know, Kristen was helping me this morning. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But I got to change your beliefs. Because if I don't change your beliefs, you don't take any action. And if you don't take any action, you don't get any result. What's the action I want you to take today? Take 1 tablespoon first thing in the morning. What's the result it's going to give you? It's going to help balance your cholesterol profile, hormonal health, ladies, hair, skin, and nails, vascular health. Oh, and by the way, it's essential. We need it, and we're not getting it. All by taking 1 tablespoon. But we got to change our mindset and our beliefs. You know, today it was a shorter time for me, so I didn't get to go into my principles that I usually teach. And principles are these principles that don't change. It's like gravity. It just doesn't change. And if you have those, you kind of know how to navigate. I'm going to share with you one principle. It's called the source. Where's it coming from? And if you know where it comes from, or if you're as close to the source as possible, it's going to be more powerful, more potent, and inexpensive. Here's an example. Flax seeds, $1.50 a month, $4 a bag. Everybody in our country should be doing the flax seeds. There's no reason we're not doing the flax seeds. But it's not advertised. There's not a lot of profitability. There's not a lot of money behind it. We start to move in that direction as we go to the oil. $17 a month, $37 a bottle. It's in this dark container. It oxidizes fast. You don't get as much benefits, the lignins. But it's a little easier, a little more marketable. And then what everyone's doing are the gel capsules. Why? Because it's easy. You go into the pharmacy, you go into the health food store, you see these all over the grocery store, and you're comparing $10 a bottle versus $4 a bag, and you're saying this is just so much easier. But we're not getting the results because you need $40 a month in dosage. So as we move away from the source, we're going to need more, and it's going to cost us more every time. I mean, that's the fundamental principle of food. So the closer you go to the source, the more powerful and potent it is. If a coconut falls from a tree, you pick it up, you cut it open, you start drinking that coconut, it's always a healthy coconut. It falls, you cut it, you heat it, you process it, you put it in a Mounds candy bar, no longer the same coconut. But the way that we're managing this right now is we consider nutrient facts and what something is the same thing. The goal of the food target is quality matters. Always will matter, and it's the most important thing when you're trying to navigate this health issue. Now, the pillars, rest, eat, move. Let's start with rest. It's the most essential thing that you need to perform at your best, and probably the first thing that you neglect. Why do I start with it? Because we need rest to handle this. Nobody has stress at Edelman, right? There's no stress at Edelman. There's none of this. Now, stress can be good or bad. You want to have the challenge. But the bottom line is we have stress. We need recovery to handle this stress. How many check your email before bed or look at your phone before bed, maybe in bed? How many did that 15 years ago? So the line of professional and personal that we all talk about, that work-life balance, let's get rid of that mindset. It's blurred. It's overlapping. And so if we don't have these tactics, we're not going to be able to handle that stream of flow because we're going to have too much stress and not enough recovery. So I'm going to give you one tactic to start. Scoot to the end of your chair. Got these pretty lavender plants. The only way you internally can change your mindset around stress is how you breathe. The only way. And most of us don't know how to breathe. So inhale through your nose. Your belly should come out. Exhale through your nose. Belly should come in. Why don't you close your eyes? We got 30 seconds of sitting still, quieting the mind. All I want you to do is focus on your breathing. Inhale. Belly comes out. Exhale. Belly comes in. As your belly moves, what you're using there is called the diaphragm. The diaphragm is the second most important muscle in the human body. You've probably never heard that. Number one is the heart. Just like any muscle, if you don't use it, it goes away. 5 seconds. Inhale. Exhale. Sit back. So over that 30, 35 seconds, what we did was we lowered your heart rate, lowered your brain waves, lowered your blood pressure, all by how you breathe. People email me all the time, hey, Matt, what's the best thing for my blood pressure? What do they want to hear? Here's what you need to eat. Here's what you need to change how you breathe. It's impossible to have high blood pressure if you're using your diaphragm. Oh, here, sleep apnea, snoring, not able to sleep. If you're a chest breather, it's impossible to snore. Why? Because you're using the belly instead of the mouth and the chest to breathe. People struggle with this all the time. Simple tactics, but you got to practice it. You don't practice it, that muscle doesn't work. The second tactic is sleep. I talked about 20s, 30s, and 40s. We kind of get by with limited sleep. How many value sleep today more than you did 10 years ago? It's like one of the most important assets we have. It's something that's only going to grow and grow and grow in value, like the piggy bank here. But we struggle with sleep.
You're tired. You get weird when you get tired. Let's just find a motel. I don't want you dozing off.
I'm not tired. Are you kidding?
Nobody does that. You know, so how am I going to help you with sleep? One, I'm going to educate you about it. Number two is I'm going to give you some tactics. Obviously, there's a lot of layers to sleep. If you do any research on sleep, even the most seasoned researchers and doctors on sleep still don't quite understand it. But what we do know is sleep is one of the best preventative mechanisms for cancer. Why? Because during sleep, you eliminate these toxins. If you don't get sleep, these toxins don't get eliminated. Now, to educate you on sleep, you have 4 stages. You go through each stage every 90 to 110 minutes during sleep. Stage 1 and 2 is very light. I'll mention alcohol for a brief minute. We're not going to go too deep on alcohol, but this is the only stage you get into when you drink alcohol. So when people are struggling with their hormones, their health, their energy, they got to look and say, well, I have a glass of red wine 7 nights a week. Okay, that's fine. But if it's impacting your sleep, we got to change that because it plays a role in your sleep. Where the magic starts to happen is stage 3 of sleep. This is where your hormones come out. This is where the body heals itself. This is that deep sleep that we need for that body to recover. And the last stage is rapid eye movement. Memory, creative ability, cognitive function. All these things we need the brain to do happens in this last stage of sleep called rapid eye movement. Now, probably 3 years ago, I was doing an executive retreat, you know, the top 10 people of this large company, and one of the top guys came up to me and said, hey, Matt, I only need 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and that's all I've ever needed. Okay. Remember when I said health, the definition of health is your optimal self? What we do is we compare ourselves to others and say, oh, okay, 5, 6 hours of sleep, I'm performing pretty well to my peers, that must be all I need. Let's go internal. Look at this research here. You only get 2 hours or 2% of rapid eye movement in 4 hours of sleep. Why? The first 2 hours you get 0. As you sleep more, 6 hours, you get a little bit more. Look at 7 to 8 hours of sleep, how much rapid eye movement. So that question back to that executive was, imagine how much better you could perform or feel. You know, LeBron James will always be the best basketball player in the NBA. And he would have been. But he takes this seriously because he wants to be the best LeBron James. So we got to think of ourselves, how do we perform at our best? We're going to need sleep or else we're not going to get there. Now I'll give you the first tactic. If you're not falling asleep, that's something different. But if you're falling asleep but can't stay asleep, that's where I find most people, probably last night. This is what it's telling us, is that our minerals are out of balance. We're not maybe getting the right nutrients in our food, or maybe we're not able to relax. And the relaxation mineral is magnesium. We leach out this magnesium as a body gets too processed, too stressed. And so one tactic are these things called Epsom salts. Epsom salts are pure magnesium. You used to soak your arm if you're a pitcher or you had soreness in Epsom salts. All it is pure magnesium. So you take a foot bath or a real bath, you take a cup of Epsom salts, you soak in it twice a week, 20 minutes, and then you'll have your best night's sleep because you're able to absorb magnesium. This is a game changer. Try this. Two times a week, 20 minutes. I talk about the foot bath because most people don't take a real bath. Soak in it, and you allow the body to relax. The other thing is the environment matters. Lower the temperature. Needs to be pitch black. If you're at home and you're not able to sleep, get the temperature to 65. That'll allow you to stay asleep. Now we'll move into eating and using the food target here. The first important piece of eating is how much water should you drink. Half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if you're 200 pounds, that's 100 ounces of water a day. Now if you're not at 100, go to 30. From 30, go to 40. Don't go from 30 to 100. The body won't be able to absorb it. So work your way up. Hydration gives you energy. So if you're low on energy, it's probably a sign of dehydration. It also allows the body to eliminate and remove those things that need to come out of the body.
Hey, I haven't had a car since 2004. Check these out. See these boys? This is what I live with. Every day I lather this up with Kiehl's in the shower. You want to touch these bad boys? Sorry, not going to happen.
You know, that made it to a movie. That's that funny, that real, that it made it to a movie. And that's what I talk about, is that we got to start thinking a little bit differently. We keep trying to re-engineer this basic thing, the science of nutrition that's been around forever, and that's with the food targets, broken into carbs, proteins, and fats. Let's start with carbs: fruits, vegetables, legumes, grains, potatoes, sweet potatoes. These are essential. They give you energy, antioxidants, and fiber. The fourth one is it helps boost your serotonin level. What do we have an issue with in our country? Mental health issues. We're eliminating something that actually supports that mental health, that serotonin level, are these starchy carbohydrates. If anyone tells you you can't have a sweet potato, baked potato, they don't understand the science of what carbohydrates do. We got to get to the source. Now, if you go to a hotel and you ask for a plain baked potato and they say we don't have them, but they're serving mashed potatoes, it's telling you that those mashed potatoes came from a box. If they don't have plain baked potatoes, and you ask for, or if you ask for a plain baked potato and they're serving mashed potatoes, that's telling you you're using something else. So I'm not talking about that kind of mashed potatoes. I'm talking about the real thing. And grains, oatmeal. I have oatmeal probably 5 times a week. People are telling you shouldn't eat grains. Now I'm talking about rolled oats. They're saying, yeah, oatmeal, I know oatmeal. It's called maple and brown sugar. I have it all the time. No, I'm talking about rolled oats, steel-cut oats. This is the first source. We move into that instant, add the process. Yes, those are going to be more processed things that we want to stay away from. The next is proteins. This is where you make your organic upgrade. Animal products, you go organically first. Any animal products, try to go organically first. Eggs, poultry, chicken. And then I'm not a fan of cow's milk because it's very hard to digest. Why? Because it's ultra pasteurized. We remove the enzymes that help us break it down, so the body is really struggling to break it down. That's where I go plant-based milk like almond, cashew. And then I'm traveling a lot, just like you. Get a food bar. This is a Raw Revolution that I like. Raw Revolution, you throw it in your bag. You got some options as you navigate traveling. And the last is fats. Talked about cod liver oil, flaxseed, chia seeds. Fats help heal the body. So if your cholesterol's out of whack, it's telling you that we need to get some of that raw material to help reduce that inflammation, get those numbers elevated. Avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, virgin coconut oil is one of the most amazing saturated fats. If you have any acid reflux, this is amazing to help your acid reflux. Side note, another thing for acid reflux, you take half a lemon, squeeze it in lukewarm water first thing in the morning. Do that for 2 weeks. Shoot me an email. You won't have any acid reflux. Let me repeat that. Half a lemon, lukewarm water, 2 weeks, your acid reflux will go away. Why? Because it helps improve your alkalinity by digestion.
Claire, Connor, I have cod liver oil. Do you want to go first? Twizzle Maybe we can talk about Twizzlers. Getting cod liver oil. I did say after that. That's true. Okay, we'll talk about it. Connor? Cod liver oil. It's cod liver oil. So good. You let this food
All right, 2 reasons you need omega-3s. I'll make it real simple. You could talk to your clients, your family. Number 1 is brain health. We're going to live to 90. If you're under 65 in this room, the chances you live to 90 are very high. We got to protect the brain. So number 1 is brain health. Number 2 is cholesterol profile. Cholesterol is a big problem, but we don't really know how to handle it. We got to reduce inflammation and add the raw material. That's what these omega-3s do. Now, the 30 years my father's been doing this, the 15 years that I've been doing this, we've never not had someone not get off their cholesterol medication. Never. It's a bold statement. Why? Because this stuff is powerful. But we have to start educating ourselves. That's the power of healing the body. So from a brain standpoint, we're going to live longer. We're having these brain issues. Here's what is happening in the brain. This myelin sheath starts to break down. Every nerve in the human body is covered in a myelin sheath. You start protecting this myelin sheath, the nerve doesn't break down. So it's like a phone cord. It starts to wither, the signal gets lost. We got to protect that through how we eat, how we rest, and how we move. Now I know I got a minute and 15 here. Hopefully we can extend that, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. But movement's important. Posture's where I want you to start. How are you improving your posture? We're sitting all day, even standing all day, driving all day. All these things, they move us in this flexion, this rounded posture. Here's a tool to help you with your posture.
How to use a foam roller. This is 3 feet long,
6 inches in diameter. You can get them right off our website. I'm going to show you a couple ways to use the foam roller. First thing, I throw this right on the floor, and I'm going to use it as a posture tool. So you're going to lay on it from your tailbone. If you have lower back issues, and I want your palms up and just relax. This is going to relax your neck. It's lining up your spine. It's really trying to diaphragmatic breathing, rotator cuff, migraines. Use this to roll out your muscles, which I'll show you, but the most beneficial way is just to lay on it. The most passive exercise you can do. So I put that in my office, at my house. It's the easiest thing to do and improve my posture because it lines me up. If you go to our website, you can kind of go into more information on exercise. I won't break this down, but this is a typical exercise routine. 45 minutes very efficient is what I teach. If you're at an hour and a half, get more efficient. If you're at 5 minutes, go to 7 minutes. If you're at 0 minutes, go to 5. Yes, that's going to make a difference. I did the dynamic warm-up and foundations to start. On the back of your food target, this is what I do every single day. In the office, getting ready for the plane, before the golf course. This helps keep the body in alignment and improves flexibility. From a cardio standpoint, less than 25 minutes. So we've always been told 60 minutes of steady state cardio, less than 25 minutes from a fitness health standpoint. If you're training for endurance activity, you're going to need more than 25 minutes. But if you're not and you're just going for general fitness, less than 25 minutes and boost your intensity. I have these bands over here. One thing that everyone can improve in this room is to do some type of strength training. Because if you don't use it, it goes away. In the musculoskeletal system, that is the fountain of youth, doing the strength training. Now I'll come back to this. If you want to shoot me any personal question, that's a service I provide. Send it to my personal email, mjohnson@ontargetliving.com. I'll get back to you with any email. And if you go to our website, you can sign up for some free resources to kind of keep you going down this journey. And I'll end with this. So this is my grandfather. Passed away 6 years ago in September, and he's one of the most important people in my life. I played gym rummy with him. We played golf together. He's kind of like my buddy. But he's very financially successful. He never had his health. I never remember him saying, Matt, I feel pretty good today. It was always, I don't feel very good. But he was smart and witty, and we wanted to be around him, but he never had his health. And my father, who's done this for his entire career, is his son. The first mistake we'd made is we always want him to do everything. Here's what I don't want you to do today. Don't do everything. Pick 1 or 2 things coming out of here. Because if you're overwhelmed, you're not going to build a habit. And he never built a habit. The other thing is we told him how much we loved him. I spent a ton of time with him, but I never told him how much he was needed. And he was needed in a huge world, but he meant the world to me. I'm going to tell you this. Whether you know it or not, or people tell you, you're needed. And so by taking care of your health, that's the most valuable asset that you can give to that person. That oxygen mask comes down, you put it on yourself first. And in our chaotic, stressful, do more with less society, we're kind of going externally. Start with you first. You'll be able to handle everything else a lot easier. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. We're going to do the superfoods on the way out.